This is Newcap News with Nicole Stilger.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. Husky Energy outlined its 5-year growth plan to investors in Toronto today, and it highlights many developments for its complex here in Lloydminster. The energy company's 5-year plan includes a steady growth in production and operations with an expected free cash flow. Since 2015, Husky has seen a 55% increase in its bitumen production. In the region, the company is expected to move forward with at least 14 potential additional Lloyd thermal developments, with construction on 3 previously sanctioned thermals expected this fall in the Spruce Lake area. Well, if you look up into the trees, you may be met with a pile of unsightly guests here to eat every leaf in sight before moving on to the next tree. Brittany Matika reports.
Tent caterpillars have once again infested trees of all shapes and sizes. Although the insects are small, the large groupings are causing significant damage.
I've owned this building for 3 years here, and it's been gradually getting worse for the last 3 years. And this year's the worst I've ever seen it. And they're not wasting any time.
The downtown area is no exception to the tent caterpillars infestation. The trees here are covered with large masses of unwanted insects.
Well, right now we're in the middle of a bunch of big changes and trying to beautify the downtown and keep it clean. So what's the use of having all these trees if they're going to be wiped out in the first month they come into bloom or into leaf?
Business owners and residents are worried about the health of their trees and are reaching out for help with the problem.
I notice other communities, as soon as they see one worm, they're out there spraying. I think it's something that, because for 3 years we've always had to go to a meeting, get permission, do this, do that. I think it should be on our priority list. We haven't heard back anything from the city, and we were in touch with them, I believe, last week.
Homeowners can take things into their own hands. Pesticide applicator Brandon Tupper says that you can combat the tent caterpillars yourself.
Probably the best thing to do is, if you're okay with picking them off your trees, especially your small ones, is just go out and pick them off. The second option I would suggest people do is use your garden hose, high pressure nozzle, and just hit them with water to get them off your trees, the ones that are higher specifically. Some of the home brew cocktails that people are using might actually be causing more damage to their trees than what the tent caterpillars would do.
Tupper says to avoid using homebrew cocktails as they could do more damage to the tree. And if you're looking to get some help to deal with the infestation, you can call in a professional.
You can phone a licensed certified pesticide applicator who can come in with equipment to do it safely and effectively, and they're very affordable. And there's several options in town.
The tent caterpillars are expected to be present for another 3 to 4 weeks until they mature, build a cocoon, and emerge as moths to lay eggs to hatch next spring. Brittany Matika, Newcap News.
Well, back at home, the Lloydminster SPCA is currently in the middle of their 2nd annual Microchip Your Cat Week. In the 3 veterinary clinics in town, you can have a microchip put into your cat for a donation of your choice. The microchips help identify the owners of the lost cat and increase the chances of it being returned to its rightful owners. John Punchon with the SPCA says too many cats come into the shelters without the chips.
There are quite a few that don't have microchips. I mean, a lot of the cats that come in are not spayed or neutered. Those even that are spayed and neutered oftentimes don't have any form of identification. So this is a really great way for 2 things. I mean, ideally, it'd be great if people spayed and neutered their cats as well. But at the very least, if we do get the microchips, then there is some form of identification.
Last year alone, 537 cats were brought into the SPCA, only 7% of which were returned to their families. Well, Bonnie and Clyde, 2 stray cats from St. Walburg, are featured in this week's pet project. They join Saul, a black and white cat who is also up for adoption. Here's John from the SPCA.
Bonnie and Clyde were brought into the SPCA together as strays from the St. Walburg area. Although a little shy at first, once they got used to their new surroundings, they settled in well and their personalities really started to shine. When they're not snuggled together, they are sitting high up on the cat condo watching the world go by. While they really enjoy being together, they have so much love to share that if adopted separate, you'd still have a very special companion for years to come. Be sure to stop by the SPCA and meet Bonnie and Clyde today. We know that they will steal your hearts, but that's it, we promise. Are you looking for a mellow feline to hang out with you this summer? Then you just have to meet Saul. Saul is one cool customer who just exudes confidence. Nothing gets this guy down. He's always relaxed no matter the situation. Whether it's meeting a new person or a feline companion, as long as you're easygoing, Saul is totally fine to share his life with you. Saul's favorite pastime is sleeping. When he's awake, he's either grooming himself or is perfecting his cat yoga by stretching across the cat condo ledge. Saul is about as calm as a cat as they come, and his laid-back demeanor is the perfect remedy after a long, stressful day. This is a feline you just can't miss out on, so be sure to visit the SPCA and say hi to Saul today.
This is Newcap Sports.
A tough loss in Vermilion nearly 2 weeks ago has left a sour taste in the collective mouths of the Lloydminster Extreme Lacrosse Club. On the weekend, the Extreme hosted the remedy for all that ails the Edmonton Warriors. Lance Phillips with more.
The Extreme improved their record to 500 after a dominant 13-5 win Saturday. It was the type of performance head coach Graham Murray's been waiting to see all season.
The offense finally started clicking. I feel like, we moved the ball well. We finished our opportunities. We were hitting the nets tons. I don't have the official shots, but I think we were in the 60s, 70s area, right? And, that's the most we've put in the net all season, 13. And, it was nice and spread out. Everybody got their touches and everybody, started finishing.
Tonight, we played defense, shut them down. They made my job really easy. They kept them to the outside. And whenever there was a breakdown, someone else helped. And they made it well for me.
And this was one of the keys. Save after save by Boyer, who was outstanding. But his body of work is nothing new to the team.
Kyle, he's been with me for all 4 years that I've been here, and he's been phenomenal. He, in the past, he's stolen games for us, and tonight he didn't have a lot, didn't have as much work as he normally does, but he made the saves when possible. He's great on the team. He's great as a leader on the team.
After a 3 games in 7-night stretch, the Extreme entered Saturday's match on 10 days of much-needed rest.
We've been hanging in there, and now we're just looking to get some wins. So I think it's nice to take a break, come back, regroup, and work on our stick skills.
Up next are the first-place Lakeland Heat, and an opportunity for Lloydminster to do something it has yet to do this season. Win 2 straight, but more importantly, prove the belief that it can contend with the league's best. Lance Phillips, Newcap Sports, Lloydminster.
Although not quite the same draw as Major League Baseball, Men's Senior League does offer something MLB doesn't: local talent. Lloydminster has 3 teams playing in the circuit, and last night 2 of them played their home openers against each other. The Border City Blue Jays and the Midwest Expos squared off, with the Jays finishing on the right side of a 10-0 score. It's those types of wins the team hopes to become familiar with, considering its talent.
No, I think this team's really deep. 4 or 5 arms that are pretty good arms, probably better arms in the league, and very good hitters across the board. So I think as the season goes on, just like everyone else, we should be 1-9. Even 10-11 off the bench should be good swingers.
The Blue Jays have brought on more players this year, and with age creeping up on them, the additions provide strength in an area the team can't control.
We're kind of excited with the youth that we brought in. With all of us old guys, we can barely make it to first, so that'll help us out.
And although the uniforms have similarities to the big league club, that's as far as it goes, and the key to winning games in this league differs greatly than it does for the Eastern Blue Jays.
Not making errors and having guys show up. That's basically 2 big things, right? Working man's league, so you never know who you're going to get. And just because no one's really practicing the inconsistencies, hopefully you're shook out by July.
The Lloydminster Vandals are back for their 14th year of AFL play, opening their 2017 season at home against the Parkland Predators on a sunny Sunday afternoon. As Lance Phillips explains, a Sunday afternoon Parkland would like to forget.
Sunday afternoon, the sun certainly didn't shine on the Parkland Predators. Lloydminster scored early and often, opening up a 42-0 lead by half, en route to a 66-0 drubbing of the Predators.
The chemistry was good. The execution was pretty good for the most part too, so it just kind of goes to show that everything in practice really kind of paid off in the game.
I just liked that we had a pretty good size roster. We always start out with a decent one, and then it gets tougher as it goes, but mostly I just liked having all the guys out and getting back at her.
Unfortunately for Parkland, having all the guys out was a problem. The visitors came to Armstrong Field with 12 players, the minimum required to field a team. A situation proving just as tough for Lloydminster.
It's not easy, right? Because it's one of them games where if you start to play kind of at 80%, you open yourself up to an injury, right? So, but you don't, we all got to work the next day, so you don't want to go and take advantage of a team like that.
You start thinking about the internal aspects of your team. You don't think about the other team and how much points you want to put up. You start thinking about how you want to execute your plays. You think of it more as trying to get everything clicking and getting ready for the more competitive ones.
Well, we only had about 4 guys at practice, 6 guys at practice, and it's just the commitment. We're a brand new team here, from what I've heard, and it's just rough getting guys out to a new team, you know.
But getting guys isn't only an issue for new teams. It's something the Vandals have been all too familiar with since their 2012 national championship win. And any team can attest, there's only one way to keep players coming out.
Honestly, if we came out with a win today, I'd definitely see a lot more guys coming out. And but I can tell my biggest fear right now is that guys are going to quit because we don't have enough, you know. They don't want to lose. No one wants to lose, right?
Success kind of breeds more success, right? So when you're winning, when we were winning games not losing, guys were just flocking to us, calling me every day, right?
Had some rocky years where we've only had 15, 16 guys, and so we can sympathize with these games where you only have 12 or 13 players. So at the same time, you're kind of rooting for the other teams, just so everything's going in the right direction. You want to have fun out on the football field. So when they make big plays, you kind of want to give them a little congratulation tap when you see them running in and out of the huddle, and you don't want any teams folding. So you got to encourage each other out there.
Lance Phillips, Newcap Sports, Lloydminster.